Hey y'all, it's Hope here, and you are about to tune in to a God conversation with me and the Whaleys. We did this conversation a little bit different as the Whaleys invited us into their home and allowed our young adult mentees to witness the conversation firsthand in real time. I know you guys are going to enjoy this as much as we enjoyed it because we had a lot of laughter during this conversation. So make sure you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get into it. All right, so what are your names?
I'm Alana,
I'm Alejandro.
and we're the Whaleys.
So cute. Where are y'all from?
Both of us from Louisiana, Bastrop, Louisiana.
Before we get into it, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. And so y'all said y'all didn't meet each other until y'all got to Dallas. Like, how did that happen?
You want to tell her?
Sure. My cousin was having a birthday party, and I moved to Dallas to go to UNT. So I was in Denton at the University of North Texas, and I was coming to visit my cousin in North Dallas, and she was having a birthday get together like on a Friday night, and I went over, and Al was there, and he seemed cool at first, and he was he was funny, over there playing with kids and
That was just to get her attention.
being extra.
Yeah.
I didn't even like kids.
I was playing with kids just to get her attention, but yeah.
That's how we met, and then just ended up being good friends, and he was cool and just evolved from there.
How old were y'all when that occurred?
19. Yeah.
So very young. So how long have y'all been together?
23 years.
Yeah, about 23 years.
23 years.
Mm-hmm.
Has God been at the center of y'all's marriage the whole time?
Not the whole time.
Right. Not the whole time. Not the whole time.
Not the whole time. In the beginning, we were just living raggedy.
Well, it was that. It was me on my end. I didn't even know. She grew me up a lot because in the beginning, I thought I was doing everything right because when I met her, I was like, I told her, I said, I'm gonna marry you. This is gonna be my wife. I'm like, this is gonna be my wife. My life changed when I met her. So she didn't know how I felt, but I thought I was doing everything right because I'm changing how I really was. I was kind of like in the streets a little bit. I was on the rough edge. I was kind of a little bit, not too much, a little bit. But I thought I was doing good by myself, but little did I know. She ended up breaking up with me because she was like, "You ain't doing good enough." I'm like, what?
It's because we grew up differently. So what I thought a man should be, I just felt like he needed to work on it. He wasn't a bad person or anything. It just his views didn't align. His values didn't align with where my values.
I was still in the streets a little bit. Like I was still out, like not hustling drugs or nothing like that. But I was smoking. Was I smoking Black and Mild?
Yeah.
Like I was smoking Black and Mild. I was going out to clubs a lot, but I had a job.
You were just young, and I was a little bit more mature. Like I'm in school, and we just had different mindsets. But he was always a good time. He was always kind-hearted. Like he had a lot of good qualities. Yeah, you are. Mm-hmm. All that. He is all that. No, he is. He's really a good guy, and which so in the beginning, I'll say that we weren't. God wasn't in the middle, but maybe.
But I'm gonna tell you, I always had a relationship where I was always on my own. I was the one that on Friday, Saturday night, I'll be with the fellas. We go out and hang out. On Saturday nights, we go to the club and get home 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. On Sunday, I still go to church by myself. I was always that guy. I don't need nobody to take me to church. I never needed that. I always did that on my own. So I had my relationship with God. It just we wasn't involving them in our relationship at the time.
Yeah, which is crazy because we went to the same church. We just went with our own separate friend groups.
Yeah, I bought, right?
Yeah,
I bought.
Yeah.
Okay. Ricky Rush.
Yeah,
we started. That's where we started.
That's where we started, and then kind of outgrew that, or just wanted more. We needed a deeper connection. We needed a church home that we could really make spiritual connections with people and just study the Bible. I'm very into my Bible study, and just the more the way my mind works is the more I know, the more I want to know, and the deeper I want to develop a relationship with God, and the more I want to live for Him. So I just really needed to find somewhere where I could learn more in depth about God.
So you said you always had a relationship with God. Where do you think that was rooted?
My mom, when I grew up, I was in church 5 days a week, sometimes two churches a day. Like I mean, I wouldn't, and I didn't think like back then. It's like you ready to go home. I'm sleepy. I'm tired. I'm in there bored. But she had me in the choir, and I played the drums. I didn't know how to play, but I was going to small churches, so they didn't know it. Not anyway. They was old people, so it wasn't myself, 8 people in the congregation. But she made sure we was there every Sunday for sure.
Weren't you on the praise team too? You used to dance, or was it?
Some stuff I just ain't gonna tell
Oh,
okay. Yeah, let me tell my story.
Sorry.
Don't tell my story. Now that didn't. Now she made that up.
Quincy, y'all.
It ain't a team. We did it every now and then. They made us perform Kirk Franklin or some stomp. I don't know. But I wasn't just out there praying. I ain't have no mask on them. But anyway, like I said, my mama made me go to church. We was going at least 4-5 times a week. So I think it was, even though I didn't know what she was doing at the time, because I never did. I think about that now too, because I never did really get into reading the Bible. I tried, but it's hard for me. But I know that it's something deeply rooted in me that's so spiritual. So that's what I get all my answers for. I go to it for my answers. I go to it for correction. That's where I go. Now, I think it's because of everything she instilled in me that was instilled in me when I was younger, when I was forced to go. So I think that's kind of where it came
from. What denomination did you go?
Baptist, Canada Drive Christian Church in West Dallas.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. And what about your
upbringing? I went to church a lot. I was pretty active. My church was a mid-sized church at the time. It was about 500 to 700 people. No, it's not big. I don't think. But yeah. I went to church in Beaumont, Emmanuel Baptist Church, and your typical. Was in the choir, was in the youth group, and one thing I can say about my childhood church is I didn't realize it until I got grown, but they really teach the Word of God. So, once I got into adulthood, I realized that a lot of people, a lot of churches were not teaching, and it just made me really appreciate my childhood church a lot more. It's like, oh wow, it's a lot that just doesn't happen. You go through the church motions, but it's a lot missing. So, but yeah.
And in your relationship, what was the shift that made y'all put God?
For me, it was I just didn't want to live outside the will of God. We were young, so I ended up I was in Denton, and I ended up moving into an apartment in North Dallas because that's where my people were, my cousin and him, and so I moved to North Dallas, and then we were somewhat cohabitating, like.
That's the word you're gonna use.
We were living together, but according to on paper we weren't. But like my mama didn't know we were living together. He was there. He never left
all the time. I was staying. I wasn't.
He
just
never
living
left.
There. But it was the more comfortable place for me.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
She wanted me there.
And so did. But I just didn't feel comfortable. So it was a time where it's like, okay, this not going. Well, no, not at that apartment. Then I ended up moving to Carrollton, and I just wanted to.
We didn't move right together right away. We really. She had her own place, and I had my own place. Like so. That was when we was about 21 when we had him. Around about 20, 21.
That's when it really got deep. So yeah. So that was at first. We had I had the apartment.
She dumped me for a little bit, But then this is what happened. See, when I started getting my stuff together and I started working out and stuff, and then she started coming to my house. First, she started dropping. She called me like, "Hey, come get your child downstairs. Like, come get him." And then I was cool with what she was doing. Like, you want to leave me gone? I'm over here now getting myself together, and I'm working out, living fit and everything. and then she'll have me meet him downstairs. But then after a while, about a month or so passed, now she want to start knocking on the door. And then the swoller I got, and you know what I'm saying, the better I start looking, and then she want to take 2 steps inside the door and just stand in the door while he getting the kid and stuff. And then all of a sudden, you know, she wanted, you know, watch a movie, and just, you know, we got in the back.
That's not my account.
I was done. Hey, she had left me too long, and then she came back real quick though. Once she seen me get it together.
That was not even the question, and that is not accurate.
Oh, that was my truth. Okay.
So, what actually made you want to start getting it together?
I always did. I always was a hustler. Everybody know me. I just didn't sell drugs. I always hustled. Ever since I was in 3rd grade, I used to sell candy. You know, I used to buy the Mambas and sell them for a nickel a piece. You know, nowadays I sell them for a dime or something like that. So I always was a hustler. I started cutting hair when I was 12 years old. I was charging when I was in the 8th grade. So it was just, yeah. And then when she told me that I didn't have it together, and I thought I did, she made me dig deeper into it. Like, man, I need to get a career or something under my belt. I need to start doing more. She pushed the issue on that. So that's what really made me just start pushing and figuring out what it is I really want to do. It was kind of like I knew I wanted her. And for her to leave me when I thought that I had it together already, I was like, maybe I don't know what getting together is. So she kind of pushed me in that direction. I'm talking about,
and that was the loudest nose blowing, whistling in the back.
Bleep it out. Nah, keep that right there where they can see that he doing it.
Hey, y'all, I hope you guys are enjoying this conversation as much as we enjoyed filming it. We're about to take a commercial break, so stay right there. Come join us for live Bible study Monday through Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you're unable to join us in the morning, you are always able to go back and check out the Bible studies on my YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe so you can receive notifications. All right, let's get back to the Whaleys.
21, almost 22. So we were young. And
that's old in my family. That's started late almost.
Yeah, I went through the whole walk of shame. You know, I just didn't see that for my life, and but you know, I was determined to be the best young parent that I could, and I grew up in a 2-parent household. Even though my parents did separate when I got grown, but yeah, I just wanted to do the best I could to raise my child the way that I knew was, you know, God's way. And
can you talk about how that felt? How you got over the feeling of shame?
yes, I was ashamed because it's only 2 of us, so it's me and my older sister. She's like the ideal child. I'm kind of like the wild card, you know, the one who's a little bit more artsy, you know, just more social. And so, yeah, I really felt heavy. I didn't know how I was going to support a child. I just didn't see that in my future. I didn't even want to have kids, to be honest. I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to have kids. I wanted to be a free spirit, travel the world, do missionary work, just enjoy my life. But once I got pregnant, things kind of changed, and I really had to settle into a different mindset. And I did end up withdrawing from school and going into my field, which was finance. So I ended up getting a job at a law firm in the finance group, and you know, shifting into the workforce. It was hard, but we made it work. And at the time, we were still in separate places. Like, we didn't live together.
I actually moved back to Louisiana.
Yeah, he left and went to Louisiana because he wasn't working at the time.
No, I had started I was opening up the clothing store down there.
When you worked at ConAgra?
We weren't together when I worked at ConAgra.
Chase was born, you moved to Louisiana.
Yeah, and I wasn't working, but I wasn't working at Connect.
Okay, I don't know where he was working.
Yeah, let's get that out of there.
So when you moved back, did you feel like a single mom? Oh yeah, I did. And because of the way that I am with my child, I never let people watch my child. So I would have to either bring my mom out here, or during breaks she would watch him.
Was your mom here, or was she still in Louisiana?
No, she lives in Houston.
Okay.
So I would have to either if I needed to, she would come out here if I needed like a little break, or if I had something important to do. Sometimes she would take off and come out here, but I didn't have any friends that would watch him or anything like that. So yeah, it was very hard just showing up, even though I didn't know how to show up at that age. I just prayed about it and showed up. I was there.
And how did you express that?
We had conversations often just about how I felt, but I did understand that there was nothing that he could really do. And I don't think he could relate, because I think fathers, I think that they operate differently. So I was more emotional and in my head about it, and I believe his thought process was just kind of like, I just need to get myself together. In my mind, my thought process was, I have to make sure that this child is okay, and I need to still get my life on track and get myself together. So for him, getting himself together meant putting the family on track. But for me, I look at everything individually. So my child needs to be on track with where he is in life. I need to be on track with what I need to be doing in life.
How was that process for you, being away, trying to get yourself together, knowing that mom?
At that time, let's see what it was. For me, it was like I knew I was going. It wasn't like I was leaving her, knowing, thinking that it was over with, and I'm just not going to be back with her. So that was always there. I'm like, I went down there to pursue. I was supposed to be opening up a clothing store. So when I went down there, I'm thinking like, this is going to be a business I'm finna open. But within the first 2 weeks or so, they broke into my place and stole all the clothes out of there. So they stole all the clothes out of there. So now I'm in Louisiana. All my clothes stole. So I had to go. I went and got a job in Louisiana. I ended up working down there at a cookie plant down there. And then when I only stayed down there for like about a year.
It was a long year.
My checks weren't big, but I was sending my little money though. You ain't say that part.
I received that $40 a month.
No, it was more than $40. It was more than 40. It was more than 40. Now, come on now. They wasn't paying much, but I was sending you. I bought a big wheel for Christmas.
Yes, he did.
I was doing
the best he could.
Yeah, but
really.
I mean, when I came back, I ended up like getting my CDLs, because I'm at the point where I'm like, a job ain't gonna work for me no more. I couldn't trust a job no more. The job situation started going out the door with me. I was more chasing a career, like something that I was gonna do. So I started trying to drive trucks. So I'm thinking like, now I got a son. I got a woman who ain't finna. I can't cut her short. Like, I can't play no games. I ain't got time to. I can't mess up. I don't want to lose her, so I really can't mess up. I'm trying to figure out. I always been a hustler, so I'm doing like 5, 6 hustles at a time just to try to keep afloat, So, but it worked, I guess. I don't like places make sound we don't help. Like, we're just lonely.
I mean, that was a long time though. You think about it at that age.
You had your mama.
And I did.
She needed to grow feelings with the kid.
I forgot about the first year that I had. Okay. I forgot when I got pregnant, I ended up losing my job. They did a company-wide layoff. My whole department got laid off. So the minute I was about 2 months pregnant. I ended up having to move to Houston for a year. That was the first long distance. That was the first separation. Mm-hmm. So,
you see how many times we broke up already?
That's what I said. It was
she leaving me.
I didn't have a choice, because he asked me what was I gonna do. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? Okay. My mom said, come home. So I gave him my apartment, went home for that year. So the whole pregnancy, I was in Houston. And then when he was almost 1, so it was a little over a year
Mm-hmm.
that I was gone. When he was almost 1, I came back because I didn't trust people with my kids. So forgot about that part. I couldn't do daycare, especially at that age. So when he was almost 1, I came down for a visit, and then I ended up getting a job um, at the law firm. So that's how I ended up coming back. Came for a visit, and it worked out. He had his place and had himself together. So
So after you came back, what was your career like? What did you start doing?
Uh, like I said, I always cut hair. I was doing tattoos, selling clothes. That was my biggest hustle. I was known as the clothes guy around North Dallas. I did that for like 5, 6 years. Clothes and shoes. I was the guy. You remember that? I was the guy. I was like, and it was everybody know me for that. Like that's when I first started really thought I was touching real money. Like that's when my confidence really grew because I'm like, man, I'm out here every day. It was something that I could do from the time I wake up. I was so hungry at the time something was working. Like so now that this machine is working, it's like I didn't have to eat but one time a day. I can wake up at 8 o'clock and go home at 12 and don't eat until then. But it was working and then so selling clothes, man, changed my life. That's what really struck above financially was selling clothes.
What type of clothes?
So I was getting like real clothes like Jabos, like Calvin Klein. Back then, this stuff was popping. Jabot, Calvin Klein, Apple Bottom, this one, all this stuff right there. House of Delion. What was Beyonce line?
House of
House
Darion.
of Darion. So
What
I
was the
had
one with the 8?
the Gino Green. Oh, I killed the street with Gino
That's
Green. I got a picture with us with me in that Gino Green jacket, that big white Gino Green. Oh yeah. So I had flipped up and got me a Cadillac, put the triple gold. They had the days on it, candy red. That's when I was, yeah. I was a man around North Day. I thought I was. Yeah, I thought I was.
And how did you feel about all of
Um, he was working.
Wasn't benefiting nothing. I was able to take care of my son. Whatever.
Yeah, because when I first came, how long was I with you at that apartment? Maybe a month, and then I moved out and got my own apartment. Yeah. So he was self-sustaining, which was good.
Did y'all get back together at that point? Or?
We did.
Okay.
When did we really take it serious? When you bought your first house? When she bought the first house?
That's when we got serious.
Well, not no. Oh, it was before then.
Yes, I bought my first house at 27. We were serious before then.
Yeah, but I'm talking about well, we was locked in. Like it was like it can't be. You ain't dumped me no more.
Okay, it was a little before that when I stopped. I didn't dump him a lot, but
twice.
If I
stop saying dump. I meant to say break up.
Okay, well I didn't.
No, stop. No, you don't say break up. We're gonna say you kind of parted ways.
However you want to word
keep
it.
That part.
I just felt like I needed to be here. But one thing I can say, and I'm even back then, I used to pray because even if we did not end up together, I knew he was going to be raising my child, and I knew how I wanted my child to be raised. And so, I really used to have a serious prayer life, like, God, you know what, we need to be doing in the child's life. And
I used to pray the same type of way on my own time. Like, I want to go back there. I want to be a man that take care of my family like I didn't have. Like, I want to learn how to do it because I didn't know. Because I didn't grow up like that. I ain't have a father figure in my life. So it was like, I ain't have no uncles. So I got 7 aunts. So we didn't have no uncles around. It was just
no
straight
males
women
to look up to.
So I ain't had nobody to follow lead. I ain't had no leads to follow. It was just that. Okay.
Yeah. So I used to pray a lot, like, God, make him the man of God that, my son needs, because, I knew who he was at the time. And he used to always say, who I am is not who you see is not really who I am. So he remember, you used to always say that. And I used to be like, what do you mean? And he would be like, I'm like this right now, but I want to be more, and I'm turning into more. You just can't see him right now. And I just thought that was powerful to at that age to be mindful enough to be working on yourself, even though it hadn't manifested outwardly. the person that you wanted to be, you weren't able to walk in that, but you knew that you were called to more.
How did you know that?
Because okay, this is now you got this gonna be a little second to explain this to you. Because this right here going so I come from Louisiana, so where I'm from, I used to think I was a gangster. I'm gonna just put it that way. I used to think I was like hard. I used to think I was that, and I thought I was just a ladies man. Like I used to get a lot of girls too. So I used to feel like I was a gang banger. But when I'm out there, I used to feel like the streets was always kind of fake to me. A lot of people that say they were street, it just was never real. Cause I see these same people go out there and play bully to those who they know they can whoop or something like that. But the other people, when they see these people, they fear these people because the way they dress and how they look. They scared of them. I'm like, this dude soft. Why you think he hard? And then most of them scary. They won't do. They'll jump somebody, like or they'll be with a crowd and they bark a lot. But you know them personally, and then they catch them by themselves or do something. They scary. So I just felt like I was like it was just too fake to me, and I knew for sure that I wasn't taking a charge for nobody. I'm real enough to if I do something to somebody, I'm real enough to say, hey, I did it. They don't need no charge. I'm not gonna abide by no street code talking about some take your charge because you went to jail. Well, I believe that if you knew that you had these charges, then you shouldn't be doing what you're doing because I'm not gonna take your charge for you. I'm real enough to take my own. Why you and me sit in jail for you? So I knew I wasn't gonna abide by the street code. So I'm like, I don't need to be there because I know I'm not gonna abide by them. So that's why I'm like, I'm just gonna get out the way, all the way out the way. But me removing myself out the ways that I had already grown had to come up. It took a while for that to get out to where you can like, where I can carry myself in a different way because I still didn't know how to smile. Like all my pictures back then was like mugs because I was used to it. I was used to in a picture it was like you do that or you throwing up a gang sign or something like that. So my smile started twitching to it. She used to always tell me, tilt your head right. I used to, like I didn't know how to smile. So that's why I used to tell her like I ain't the person I want. I don't know how, and I knew I was gonna change because I knew that over time, if I keep doing this, practicing this, then it's gonna come out. So that's kind
How does your family see you
of how. They most of them proud of me. I mean, it's like because I broke a family curse, a generational curse. I went absolutely against pretty much what I was raised on. The way I was raised, I just it was totally different. My upbringing was totally different. I didn't follow nobody. Not in the streets. I didn't know nobody to follow. I had to create my own path. So in doing so, when I go somewhere like I'm the only I don't even know how to say it. Let me make sure I say this right. Now they look at me as a successful people. My grandma, my mom, them, everybody, they all proud of me. But a lot of them I can't say I'm the youngest boy, so in the whole generation, so a lot of them I get a lot of bitterness from it. They gon' they gonna talk about you, regardless. It's that in there too. But I think most of them proud of me though. They happy that somebody in the family they can say, hey, somebody made it. Yeah, they happy they can say that. But I always pray for that. I always used to pray when I was little that we have somebody in the family that I never wanted to be where if somebody in my family was dying of anything, and the only thing that stopped them from staying alive was finances, I used to pray that I could be that person in my family. I always wanted to be that. So that's something I always
now? So what is your purpose?
pray. I've been I've been purpose searching for what about the last year and a half of my life. I've been really deeply searching, and I feel like I'm close to it because I feel like I may even be walking in it. Because don't I like to give. I like to help people out. I like to show people stuff that I know. I feel like I'm more valuable with sharing my information that of what I've been through. That's why I got my own organization right now, and I'm pretty much breaking loose because all I do now is trying to be a mentor or coach, teach kids about marriage. I love to talk marriage talk. I love because I could be an advocate for marriage. I love it. Like I don't just do it. I love it. I love everything that come with it. Like so that and teaching people finances, how to manage how to make money. Like God showed me a way to make money that I'm knowledgeable enough to teach. I can teach anybody. Anybody. If they follow what I'm saying, I got enough knowledge to make anybody successful. Well, I'm gonna say I can teach anybody how to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. I got the knowledge. So, and I feel like I don't want to keep holding it in. I don't want to hold it in. And now I just started my mentorship. I got my first two, and I got somebody else probably Monday. So it's like that's why I say I feel like I'm walking it. Like I was already starting. You see, I had my lights and stuff, and out of the blue, she called me like, "Hey, you want to do an interview?" I was already setting up for this type of stuff. So when she said it, I'm like, "Man, that's already up my alley where I want to start. Might as well break the ice." So it's like when you ask me, I'm walking my purpose. I think I'm probably walking in. I just don't know.
What about you? Because you know, the wife sees something very different. Would you say that he's walking in?
I do, because I feel like our purpose is discipleship. So I feel like he definitely walks with the Holy Spirit and allows the wisdom of God to pour in him and through him. And so he's constantly reaching out to people, talking to people about um, stopping, doing things that's ungodly. He's always talking to people about relationships, encouraging his single friends or friends that have been in long-term relationships where they should or could be married, but they're not for whatever reason. He always talks about the blessings of being married. Um, he does do a lot of encouraging people to be godly in their ways and developing a relationship with God. And it always somehow comes back to God. So I do think that he's walking in his purpose.
Yeah, you warm my heart over there, girl.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
She trying to get girl. What you want? I will baby.
No, but for real.
Give me a napkin. Girl, you sound like Silly Soft
Yeah,
over
because
there.
I talk smack behind his back to his face, but no, I pay attention. I pay attention. He's doing good. He's so
I
silly.
think so. I love this moment because conversations are so important. Because one thing I found by having conversations with people is they see things that you don't. That's why I asked her because you were like, you don't know, but she sees you.
Mhm.
You know, you heard that. She sees everything that you're doing, and it's very noticeable. That means you are walking in your purpose. Not only, you know, I know y'all mentioned other people, but you leading, your son sees that, your small children see that, and she sees that, and that brings so much comfort. And even just walking into your house, the peace here. I know it's not. I heard something about the forest. It's not your desired situation, but there's love here. And there's a man stepping in his position and making sure that everyone is covered. And even the fact that you know how to cut off, like, I got to take care of this house, this tree. That's very powerful. So kudos to you for being that way, because it's a beautiful story. It really, really is. One day y'all should go into detail. But what about you? What about your purpose? You feel like you're walking in it?
I do. I feel like going into so I feel like it changes in different seasons of my life. So with Chase, I didn't feel like I was walking in my purpose, but I was seeking God. And then as he got older and I got pregnant with the younger kids, the second time around, I stopped working corporate, and then I was a stay-at-home mom. And I felt like that was part of my purpose, like really pouring into this set of children and doing my best with that. And um, I just feel like the call on me for being a helpmeet and a support is so great that it kind of supersedes other things in my life. So once they got school age, I was able to go back into the workforce, but I didn't want to go back into corporate. I just didn't feel a call there. My job loved me; they wanted me to come back, but I just wasn't connected. So I got into aesthetics because I feel like people are initially attracted to people because of their looks, but it's so much deeper than that. So when people come to me, they're coming to me because of their superficial imperfections, I'll say, like things that bother them about themselves. But once they lay on the table and they begin to talk, we get into the deeper layers. So how's your diet, or what's going on internally? And then from there, it goes into how's your stress levels? What do you do to um, correct that, or how do you uh, pour into yourself? How do you take care of yourself? How's your spirit life? And so it kind of rolls from there, and then I get the opportunity to talk to them about God or different spirituality things that will improve their life, which improves internally, and it also improves how they treat themselves, which improves the external. So it all flows.
Um, she always surprised me. Like my wife, like or should I say it don't surprise me because like she know that Bible so well. Like she know that word. I didn't even see. I used to didn't see her read the Bible that much for her to know it. Like how do you know every scripture? She can quote pretty much everything. Like, how do you know that? But she does it. Like so now, like she's all of a sudden now she in Christian University or something at the
Oh,
church. Now
leadership college.
leadership college at the church. So she's always getting into that word. And it just happens. It's not like she say, "Hey, I'm about to go and go to school to be a leader at the church." So it just kind of naturally happened. Even when she got in the aesthetics, I never knew we were together all these years. I didn't know she wanted to even do that. I was mad. I was like, "Why you want to do that?" I just didn't want her to do it. But I was like, I'm not gonna be selfish. I'm gonna let you go ahead and do what you do.
That was a real sore spot too. That was a real tough time in
Yeah,
our
because
marriage.
I really didn't want her. I wanted her to be a stay-at-home mom. I got these finances. I don't need you to go. I need you to focus on my house, focus on these kids growing up. I need you here, and you want to do something. I don't know nothing about it. You're gonna do something. I'm like, in my mind, do something that since I'm a businessman, and I'm well connected in the city. Do something that I can help you with. I don't know nothing about no aesthetics. I can't connect you with nobody, put you nowhere. And so for her to choose that, it had me like. But then when she did it and
The
she
whole time
explained
that
it,
I was in school, I got such pushback. Like every day, he's like, I wouldn't even like if I needed to pick the kids up late. I ended up meeting a neighbor. Thank God, because I didn't want to ask him because I just felt the heat that I don't even want you doing this anyway.
because I liked her to be at home. This is my wife. My wife don't got to work. Period. I don't want my wife working unless it's something that I feel like was gonna. If you're gonna come into the finance lane and you want to do something financial, I want it to at least grow us financially. I want to be able to know that it's something that, hey, this gonna take us to another level. Just adding a layer. And I didn't even want her to do that. Like it's like I don't want your help financially. I want you just here to do that. But when she did it, once I stopped being selfish, I was like, you know what? Maybe she's just tired of being in the house all the time. Maybe she just want to get out and start doing this. And once I I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop this. So I had to put myself away and think about how she felt, and then it.
Did you feel like it was kind of like I was stepping into your role or something like that?
Well, no, I didn't feel like you were stepping in my role. I just feel like you. I didn't feel like it's. I don't need you to be trying to focus on money and stuff that's gonna bring you stress financially because I got this. So if it's any financial things going on, I'm gonna figure it out. Don't you? I don't never want you to have to worry ever a day about financials ever. So if your job can cause you to start thinking about money or something like that, I don't want. You should never have to. If even if it might look like we going bills or things going bad, I never want you to feel like, hey, I'm gonna help you out. No, no, no. I'm gonna figure it out.
So that's kind of a yes,
But it take
right?
away. I always
It's kind of
said,
a yes.
I always figure like, hey, yeah, the dishes gonna get cleaned, the clothes gonna get washed, food will get cooked, the kids will be taken care of, but it's gonna be a shortage of that. It ain't gonna be 100% that. I want her to be 100% what she was already doing, because it was taken care of.
But mind you,
Couldn't travel like now.
well, that's because
Certain
you wanted to.
Saturdays we can't
That's
go
because he
nowhere.
wants to have all these kids. I mean, by the grace of God.
But certain Saturdays now, even though we do it, it's like certain number, like be like, hey, babe, let's go
That's because we have
drop
a
the
lot of
kids
kids.
off on the weekend and to your mama, and we finna just go travel somewhere. There was nothing to do there. Now it's like I got a client on this,
Yeah.
which I told her that day. I said, baby, I accept it, but this is what's finna happen. I was.
But I do have a lot of control over my schedule. So I'm pretty flexible, which I like.
I
For
don't
the
got a
most
problem
part.
with it now. I grew to like it. Like I'm now trying to push. I'm like, well, now that you did it, it's been over 2 years. Now it's time to scale up. Now it's time for us to scale up. Like I'm a focus. I just told her like this week. I said, I'm about I'm about to just pour into your business for a little bit, so you can just take it to the next level. It's time to go to the next level. You know enough now. So now it's time to go to the next level. If I don't know how to do nothing else, I know how to invest and make it go to the next level. Cause she know enough now. So I'm like, okay, now it's time for you to just go. We just had this conversation. Was it this week?
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the week.
Yeah, like it's time to do that. So no, I didn't want my wife to work. I don't, cause I ain't gonna be no stay at home dude.
But I knew, and connection is important. So you can't just be an island, be out there not connected,
And
other
I
than your
felt that.
kids.
I felt that, and
So
I had to push myself aside and
and when we got together, I've always been driven. Like I was a very independent person. Like even, like I bought my house at 27 by myself, while we were just dating. So I've always been
she was the
driven.
breadwinner at first.
I was very driven.
Yeah, she was, and I appreciated that. Like that made me love her even more because I'm like that. That would for her to be able to step down because if when I started getting myself together, she allowed me to take over. Like she allowed me and she followed me. She didn't try to be this bold woman to keep working. She allowed me to. But when I said I had it, I got it. She let me take the wheel. She didn't question it or nothing. She let me take the wheel, and life got better for us. So I was, I'm like, man, most women wouldn't do that.
It was hard. It was hard
But
because
she
I was
trusted me.
used to.
Yeah, and I took you from a half dot to a half not.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
extra. But
yeah,
yeah, it,
for
it
real.
was it was hard, but I did. I trusted him, trusted God.
Mhm.
So as we close, I just want to ask you guys, what is something that you would tell first? I want to ask you, um, a young lady who is a single mother, even if it's for a season or for a long time, that's young and maybe a word of encouragement. What is something?
I would tell her that it's not the end of the world. Don't beat yourself up. It's a journey, and connect with the people that pour into you. Don't feel isolated or secluded, and always be pushing for more because there's always an outlet. Sometimes you feel heavy and you feel like this is the end of the road or there's nowhere to go from here, but the enemy is always going to make you feel depressed or isolated, and so you really should connect with the people that love you and want to pour into you, and keep your foot on the gas. Go for it.
For you, Al, what is something that you would tell young men who are trying to figure out how to find their way in the world and find their life?
Uh, First thing is change the people you hang around. Like that's gonna be the biggest thing. It's like you don't have to stop being friends with these people, but start spending more time with yourself or around people that doing what you want to do. People who doing something good. That's definitely where I would start. Is that and nowadays I think mentorship is like the best way to go if you want to kind of bypass a lot of stuff. I think that's a good way to go because you got all this AI and all this stuff. It's simple for them right now. Once they can get away from, because when you can go somewhere good and positive, and be in a positive environment, like you come here today and people are hearing a good conversation. But then when you go back home, if you go back to them same people you were just chilling with yesterday that was talking a bunch of nothings, it's gonna override what you just learned because you used to that and you're gonna kind of stick with that. So if you can walk away from them when you know you want to change, if you just kind of stay by yourself, and staying by yourself ain't always the best thing too, is to be around some positivity. The positivity, that energy is strong when you're around positive people. So I would definitely say that.
What would you say some keys to keeping God at the center?
Prayer is your communication with God, and it is absolutely necessary, even if it's 2 seconds here or 5 minutes here. 5 minutes, that's you got to be in there for 5 minutes, but just these quick prayers throughout the day, constant communication with God so that it becomes automatic. um so that he's able to show up in your responses to your spouse or to, your partner, whoever you're with. That's one of the most important things. And two, you do need to read your Bible because you need to know what you're called to do, and you need to know how you're called to be, so that when the flesh kicks in, you can revert back to what you know is really required of you.
What would you tell young men trying to figure out just relationships in general?
Man, okay. So the answer, kind of two answers for me to say this. The first thing I would say is, um, hurry up. If you feel like a girl or is D1, I'm big on lock it down. Like if I was a sort of, just say if I was 21, it took me 10 years to marry my wife. I I gave it did. It took 2 years for me to marry. But had I known right now, I would have married her sooner because I knew already in my heart that I wanted her, and then that would have prevented the breakups because I was just a boyfriend. So it was like, and having kids out of wedlock. It's just I wouldn't I wouldn't rush into no relationship or nothing like that. But I'm just big on marriage. I love it. Like because the blessings came pouring. Like it's like man, it's like God loving what you're doing, especially when you love being the man that He. Like I love it. Like I want to learn how to be the best husband. Like so when I started doing that, that's when my life financially changed. Like I started looking better to myself. Like for real, I started looking better to myself. No, for real, it's like all the things that I used to like doing, like going out and all that stuff. Is like if you want to get rid of a lot of the ways, man, that woman at home would you would be ready to go to work and go straight there. Like so, it changes a lot when you're doing it the right way. When you're doing it the right way, that's why I love marriage. That's why I'm glad that I went on and locked it down because, like I said, my life changed like this. It's like my life changed overnight when I got married. Like 2 weeks after I got married, I got the first career job I ever had. That's when I made my first six figures a year. 2 weeks after I met my wife. I mean, after we got married.
Yeah, I know what you meant. But yes.
But it changed immediately. We was together 10 years, and then all of a sudden we get married. 2 weeks later, now it's like get a call and
because you were part time, right? Before that,
yeah, I was working at Bank of America part time, and then 2 weeks after we get married, I was introduced to some people that was like, "Hey, you should come to work at this car dealership," and I went, ended up like, "Okay, go and do that." Boom, I got hired, and then it was like life changing.
Snowball. It just
that's kept when building. After about the first year, she was the breadwinner of our relationship all those years, and after that, I was able to be like the breadwinner. That's when my confidence really came. Like I was like, "Hey, tell your mom and them, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I know y'all had a good bringing, but they ain't gotta be. You ain't gotta talk about the trips they took you on. We finna take some trips, Stop saying what your daddy did, but you did everything with your daddy. Yeah, new daddy. But I felt confident. That's when I got my confidence in it. When I married my wife, because it's like, it all the blessings started pouring down on me. Life just changed completely.
I got a question. So, how did you know, like, when you was first being like, how did
you know, she probably don't want me to. Me, I mean, you'll have that gut feeling. Like when I seen her, she was so different from every other woman. Like I seen some of her. I don't think this woman will ever cheat on me. That's how I really feel. I can't see her doing no wrong to me ever. Like when I met her, I seen her. This what really got me, cause she looked so square, and she was lame. And I'm real hood. I grew up. I'm on Forest Lane, skipping the Roy Lane, and she was so beautiful, long hair down her back. She in college. You know what I'm saying? I got a nice girl, but I don't got a miss nice. And then all I gotta do now is figure out how to get her. You know what I'm saying? And then when I seen that old good girl, she talked so proper and and then she went at my cousin refrigerator, and she had on a shirt that stopped like right here. She had on a skirt, and she went in that skirt, and she stooped down, and she reached in. I seen that tattoo right on her back. I said, "Oh, she got a little ratchetness to her." I said, "Oh, she got a little ratchetness." What? No, she did. I was like, "Ooh." So,
and this really his story because he told me.
I was like, man, I thought she was just all the way too square for a dude like me. Because I'm like I said, I'm smoking Black and Miles. I was smoking Black and Miles, drinking it, violent slabs and stuff like that. So to get something like her, college girl, I didn't think I get it. But when I seen that, I was like, oh, and then she had a belly button period. I was like, oh, it's another side to her too that I need to tap in with.
I was young. I was.
once she accepted, once she really got, once I got her, I knew I wasn't gonna let her go. It wasn't nothing. That's why I was such a good dude to her. Like I was doing everything. I stopped hanging with my friends that day. I don't think they ever saw me again.
It was pretty immediate.
We started staying together every night. From the second, we started staying together every night.
It was
we
crazy.
found a way to be with each other every day after that.
But we really, liked each other. And that's important. We put that on the record. That is important. You have to be friends with the person you with. It can't be physical. I mean, just physical. You want to find the person attractive. That ain't gonna last. It's gonna, they mess around, they get guts. What you gonna do? It has to be more. I wasn't pointing at your gut. I was just, but things change. Things change though, so it can't just be physical. It can't just be just anything that's superficial. You really have to like the person that you're with.
On another thing,
that's very important.
An important thing for I tell anybody: marriage counseling is a reset, restart, take you back to the right counseling.
Pre-counseling. You should do it before you get married.
Oh well, yeah, that too. But that too. But finding the right counselor, oh my God,
that's important. And we do have one if anybody thinks about getting married or dating.
The most important because it's a refresh. It's like when you go to counseling, the right counseling, because we've been in some bad that I just didn't like. That's one-sided. But when you go to the right counseling, it take your relationship back to the first week y'all met. I say the
it's
first
a reset.
Month after you
learning how to communicate effectively, because a lot of times you don't know how to communicate or what that person's love language is, or they may not know yours, but it really helps to bridge the gaps of where deficiencies are in y'all's communication.
And we supposed to be doing it. We said we was gonna start doing the counsel, but we just never did pursue it. But that's something that we really, because I want people to get the real deal of it, like what we got. And I don't know if who you go to gonna be as good as we got. So it's like we need to start doing it because people need to learn how we learn, because it works so well. Like it teach you how to come back and really like learn how to talk to your wife. Just an other. You will. It just, man, you come back and think both of y'all speak French. I'm not playing it.
Even like issues, it tells you how to. I mean, you learn how to address issues in a way that's not offensive to the other person, or just bring up hard conversations. So it's really beneficial.
Well, that's a wrap for me. We're gonna close it out. I thank you guys for your time. I hope y'all learned some.
Yes, I love this interview. I can't wait till y'all finish it. I'll make my boyfriend sit down and watch it.
If you want to share your testimony or sit down for a God conversation, contact me at crocketthope@yahoo.com or DM me on Instagram at heyimhope_.